Hi everyone, my name's Lou Sims and welcome to my channel. It's another new month, which means a wonderful YouTube hop with a fantastic bunch of creatives from Crafting Together with all brands. We're all using the same theme, but we're adding our own little twist onto that theme. For my project this month, I'm going to do a little bit of gel printing with Oxide inks. And I'm going to begin by putting the colours down randomly. And I've stuck to the same 3 colours. And I'm, as you can see from the video, I'm just putting them where I think visually they'd like to go. I'm going to blend the colours out with a brayer, and I stick to the same colour to begin with. And that's because I want those blocks of colours to be there and not one big blended mass of colour. I'm going to clean the brayer either on a piece of card nearby or a cloth. That way I can create some extra backing sheets as well, but it also allows all those distinct colours to stay in place. To keep building up the layers, I'm using a stamp from Shady's Design Starflower Frames, and I'm picking up the ink and putting it on, as you can see, to one of my, well, I suppose backing sheets that I haven't really finished printing on. Now this will create a real subtle pattern in the background, and it'll make everything look blended. And that's what the look I'm trying to go for. I don't want one thing to stand out over the other. So now taking another colour, a contrast colour, but still sits with it, I'm going to stamp actually onto the jelly plate. Now these will be slightly darker, but as they all the colours complement each other, will also blend into the background. I hope that makes sense. So each layer creates something a little bit different. So I'm going to take a texture stamp now, which has a base script on it, and I'm going to use one of the original Oxide colours I started, and I'm just randomly stamping that in place. This creates another layer upon layer, and each of them will be a little bit subtler. Now, I don't want to do white splats, but I want the white splat look on my background. So I've taken some white acrylic and another texture stamp, and I'm going to put that straight onto the gel plate and then put that onto my background. So it gives like a subtle white splat effect. So as you can see, I've got both backgrounds done. One, it was a mop-up piece that I've stamped on. And I'm going to start cutting these down into the card blank sizes I want to use. So I'm going to make a DL card, and I want to make an A6 card. So I'm going to cut down the first background that I made, mainly using the Oxide inks. I'm part of the Crafting Together with All Brands YouTube Hop, and everyone that's taking part will be listed below. So please do take the opportunity to actually go and visit everyone, because it's fantastic that we're all going to be using the same theme, but all giving you lots of different ideas on that theme. Now I've got the background stuck down onto my card blanks. I'm going to use the leftover piece to create 2 small tags, because, you know, why not? Don't let it go to waste. So with the mop-up piece that I was stamping all, you know, the excess ink on that you saw, I'm going to create this to be, to make little strips on my card, so it breaks up the design. I'm going to cut them down to fit each card blank size, and I'm going to measure them roughly-ish, you know, that I think would actually look good. What I also decided I thought was to mount them onto another piece of card. So then again, it made each of those backgrounds stand out in their own way. Now there is a blog post linked to this video, and I've a lot more photographs over there of the finished projects, and I have put that link also into the description box below. So lots of links to people and links to my blog. Right, once I've got all the panels cut out and ready to go, now comes my favourite part, which is, you know, the faffing, adding all those little extras. So I'm taking a background stamp, and I want to add just another layer of detail to the original background. I want this detail to also stand out, so that's why I'm moving the panels you see to one side, because then I know those stars will stand out. I'm going to stamp on the tags and also on to the backing design. For a little bit of texture, I had found this Hessian ribbon and I thought it would be really cool to add that. So add something, a little bit different, I suppose. Adds that rustic feel. I think that's the phrase I'm looking for. So I'm going to staple it rather than glue it into place on each of the different panels. And I'm going to stick the panels down with pin flare, or you could use a gel medium. I want to raise it up, but I also want it to be able to work with all the different mediums I've got there. And I know that that will actually do that. It'll also help me create that raised effect that I'm also looking for. So I'm going to do that on both cards and trim away any excess of the Hessian ribbon to create like a banner effect. Now to create my sentiments. Originally in my head I was going to use the same Oxide inks to stamp out the sentiments, but when I did it I really didn't like it, so I've decided to go for black instead. That's why you saw me stamping over the sentiment with black. I'm using some sentiments that I've got in my stash, and they're going to be a mixture. The smaller sentiments are for the tags that we're going to be making at the end. Now on another mop-up sheet where I was cleaning my brayer from the oxides, I've stamped out a whole load of different embellishments, and I went ahead and cut them out because you don't really need to see me cut them all out. And once that was done, it was now to start putting all of these elements together to create my cards. Okay, I've brought in some twine and I thought that would be another textural element to the card, and I thought it would look brilliant to sit behind the sentiment. And once I've got happy and got that in place, I'm going to add all the other bits and pieces that I cut out. I've kept to the same colours that I use to create my background, so everything then works together. As you can see, I didn't like the twine in the end, so I pulled it off. I don't know why, it just didn't sit. Oh, maybe, or I don't know, I think it made it just a little bit too bulky. So I'm going back now to add all those other elements that I stamped and cut out to the card. And I'm using a mixture of glue and the pin flare so I can raise different elements up and gradually just keep building up my pattern bit by bit by bit until I'm happy, how I've got the layers, how I want them to actually be. This part for me is my favourite part, even though it looks like I'm faffing. Well, I am actually faffing. In my head, I'm just going with the flow and seeing where I genuinely like things to actually be. So I'm starting with the DL card, and once that's made, I'm going to go on and move on to the A6 card and do exactly the same. Build up all the different layers as you saw before. So the design between the two cards is going to be very similar because obviously I'm using the same stamped images, but they'll be a little bit different. One, because of their size, and two, I'm probably not following the same placement on both cards, so they both have an individual feel to them. Now for the tags, I'm going to use the same ribbon, and I'm going to add the sentiments that I did before, and I'm going to staple them straight onto the actual tag and cut away any of the excess ribbon. Then I'll just layer up again with the same stamped elements, so everything ties in together. So now I've got cards, and I can send someone a card and then put a matching tag on the present as well. And I do like the way, you know, everything can then coordinate together. I'm going to put twine onto the tag, so obviously they can be attached to a present, or if not, I could always use them as a decoration. I don't know why, but I actually thought it needed something else. So I'm using scraps of the backgrounds that are left over and a heart punch just to tie in or fill up a little bit of the gaps. I am dreadful for never knowing when to stop, and, you know, enough is enough on a card. I do eventually, but I just felt that it did need something else to add to the actual backgrounds for the cards, and I thought the hearts were a nice finishing touch. I'm also going to add a few little gems as well, just to put into the center of the flowers, and then that finishes, I hope, the card design off. I'm going to do exactly the same on the smaller A6 card, and bring in all the different heart elements and also the gems. For the A6 card though, I've gone for a different colour gem and gone for a darker blue gem, so it makes each card individual in their own right. For the tags, I'm just going to put a pearl gem in the centre. I don't think they need much more, mainly due to their size. Thanks ever so much for joining in our YouTube hop again this month. Don't forget, everyone who's taking part is listed in the description box below. If new to my channel, I'd love it if you took the time to subscribe, hit the notifications button, like and comment. All of these things help our videos to get seen. Until next time, take care and thank you ever so much for your company.